The Ukrainian people have relentlessly been fending off Russian forces for the past year. The UK's defense secretary estimates Russia, meanwhile, has deployed 97% of its ground forces in Ukraine. Earlier, CBS News foreign policy and national security contributor H.R. McMaster discussed where the conflict currently stands and where President Putin and his generals went wrong.
I think the military, like all institutions in Russia, is suffering from corruption. I mean, the military as an institution was hollowed out like other Russian institutions under Putin, who really runs a kind of a criminalized patronage network across all these departments and agencies.
I want to bring in now retired Air Force Brigadier General Robert Spalding. He is the former senior director of strategy for the National Security Council and the CEO of the tech security firm SEMPRE. Brigadier General Spalding, welcome. It's good to have your expertise on this. Obviously, 1 year since the start of the Russian invasion is being marked now. How do you assess the U.S.'s response over the course of the war so far?
Well, I think, compared to what happened in the beginning of the Second Cold War, where the United States was engaged directly in a conflict, in that case with North Korea, when they came across the line and invaded South Korea, I think we have a much better posture here with regard to Russians' invasion of Ukraine. The Russians have been put on their back heel. That being said, I think the concern about the administration, about the Chinese Communist Party actually coming in to help Russia could be a problem. And I think this is the main challenge that we face going forward, is this relationship between China and Russia and their support of the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Crucial for that diplomacy to take place to try and keep that factor at bay. I also want to ask you, as a former Brigadier General, your forces, obviously highly trained. What do you make of Ukraine's ability to defend itself without those same levels of troop experience, especially given that they are up against elite trained Russian forces?
Well, there's a couple of factors that come into play. The Russian Air Force hasn't really been involved as much as, say, you would see the U.S. Air Force or Navy, U.S. Navy aircraft involved in a conflict. So that's been, almost trench warfare. The other issue is that you have Russians attacking Ukrainians in their homeland. So it's always more difficult to uproot somebody that's defending their homeland. So I think in a lot of respects, this mirrors the trench warfare of World War I. And in that case, I think the Russians aren't at an advantage when they're going into Ukraine.
Well, Ukrainian President Zelensky has repeatedly called on the U.S. and NATO allies to provide fighter jets to his country. What additional aid would you recommend that the military send to Ukraine? And what point, if any, do you think that fighter jets ought to be sent?
Well, definitely aircraft would help turn the tide in favor of the Ukrainians. One of the things that we have to be concerned about, and this is the thing that I think probably President Biden is most concerned about, is if we push the Russians too hard, do they use nuclear weapons? They have the ability to do that. And that would transform this war to something that we don't want to see. And so we have to measure our level of support for Ukraine in such a manner, much like we mitigated or managed our relationship in terms of the Korean War and the Vietnamese War, so that we don't create this scenario where you have direct conflict between two nuclear armed nations. That's the thing that we